Hi guys, welcome. So Danny here from the Magic Junk Drawer, and I wanted to, this video should be on private. Hopefully I put it on private because I'm not ready to go live. I like to do these videos private, but live because they upload quicker, that's why. Anyway, so I wanted to talk today about setting your intentions. And like we talk about the law of attraction a lot because the law of attraction is constantly working for us. And that doesn't mean that we're always going to get what we want or we can always manifest everything, you know, the way that we want it to happen. But sometimes it's because our own, we get in our own way. Let's put it that way. If you keep getting in your own way, you're going to keep having issues. So here's an example. And I get this same story from people all the time. It's just different players in different circumstances, but it's basically the same thing. And it's usually the woman, where the girl has an interest, romantic partner, an interest, wants things to move forward, or they've been seeing them and it's been a little bit back and forth or a little bit hot and cold. And they put out this, it sounds shitty, and I don't mean for it to sound shitty, but like martyr type of a personality, like where they come to a situation, like they present the guy with the situation, like let's just say, let's go to the movies on Tuesday. And then the guy's kind of iffy about it. So right away the woman's like, well, if you would rather go to the movies with Mary, then go with Mary. If you really want to see the movie and it's that important to you, you probably would rather see it with Mary. So you know what? It's going to make you happy to go with Mary, so then go with Mary. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Now, this story, if you change the circumstances or the situation, I've heard it from many people in this week alone. So this is the problem. The problem is you're taking somebody else's wants and needs and you're putting them ahead of your own. You don't really want him to go with Mary. When he goes with Mary, you're going to ask me, why did he go with Mary? Didn't he want to go with me? But the intention you put out into the universe was, well, if you would rather be with her, go with her. And then that's what he did. And then you get mad. So don't make your intentions go against what you want. You always want to put out into the universe exactly what you want. You don't want it to be some kind of a mystery that you're expecting the universe to decode. And that's the same thing when you're dealing with your relationships with men. You don't want them to have, you know, well, you told me to go with Mary. Now, why are you mad? Because he was supposed to read your mind and know that that's not what you really wanted? Well, you can see where we have a problem here. So, I know I'm not making excuses for guys. And, you know, it's not always guys that do it. And it's not always women. It's just usually. If you tell a guy, you know, I don't care, go, and they do, you can't turn around and get mad at them or expect that they're not going to take the opportunity. So you always want to align with what you want. Say what you mean what you say, and follow through with it. It's the same thing like I tell people all the time. Do not expect to do your communications through Facebook subliminal messages and subliminal photos and expect that your relationship is going to work the way you want it. Don't ask me what he thinks of this, what he thinks of that, because you don't know 100% of the time that he actually saw it. You don't know. And we have to communicate one person to another, not through a picture, a status, a stupid shit. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And unfortunately, social media is really destroying relationships because people are reading into things and not seeing what they should be seeing and drawing their own conclusions and back and forth in the next thing. If you want somebody to be jealous, if you're intentionally putting up pictures to try to evoke jealousy out of someone else, it's going to backfire. It's going to backfire. This isn't how we have relationships, by trying to make other people jealous. It just doesn't work. It may work temporarily, it may work short term, but most of the time it's going to backfire. So focus on what it is that you want. Keep your intentions clear. And it's not that you have to badger someone or you have to keep reiterating what you want, but don't tell somebody to go out with somebody else if that's not what you want them to do. And then turn around and ask, well, why did he do that? Well, you told him to do it. You know, especially if you think that the person has an interest in somebody else, you know, it's going against what you want. So why would you do that? I don't understand. Like, I'm not sure why somebody would do that, unless they're hoping to hear something like, no, I don't want to go with Mary, I only want to go with you, or that kind of stuff. And if that's what you're hoping to do, you're cultivating right now a lot of manipulation and a lot of confusion. And that's what the universe is going to show you. So you're going to reflect back to you exactly what you put out. If you're putting out confusion, you're going to get confusion. If you're telling him to go out with Mary and he goes out with Mary and then you get mad at him, you've got nobody to blame but yourself. I mean, why would you do that? And unfortunately, people do this a lot. I get it a lot. So, and maybe, I don't know. I know that men and women think differently. Women tend to have this, you know, what did he think of attitude? Like, that's what they want to know. What did he think of? And the thing is that the way that men think is usually like, you know, this is a pillow. What did he think of the pillow? He thought it was a pillow. That's what he thought, it was a pillow. Where women have like, well, he put up a picture and there was a girl in the picture, and who was the girl? It was someone in the background, and she had blonde hair and she was standing close to him, and what did it mean? The guy looks at the picture and he's like, oh, it was a picture. Like, he, you know, what does he think of it? He doesn't really think anything of it. I mean, it's not to say, I mean, if it's a provocative picture and you know what you're doing and you know what your intentions are, well, then you know what he thought of it. But you also have to rely on the fact that he saw it. You don't know he saw it. You know, there are times where I hit the Facebook button and the app opens and I'm not looking at what's going on. I just hit the button and the app is open. I'm not paying attention, you know, I'm doing something else and I look down and the app is open. So just because you put it up doesn't mean they saw it. You know, so be careful when your intentions are manipulating. You're going to get manipulation back. You're going to get confusion back. If you're telling somebody to go right when you really want them to go left, what are your intentions behind that? Now, when you're cultivating a relationship, you have to be careful with, you know, manipulating and, you know, well, I told him I didn't care. Well, you tell him that you don't care when you really don't care. Don't tell him that you don't care if you do, because what's going to happen is you're setting yourself up to manifest a huge disaster. When you come to a situation, right, you have to think of it like this. Do I want to be the victim here, or do I want to be the victor? And if I want to win here and I want to get what I want out of the situation, are my actions, thoughts, and words aligning with my greater good? Because if they're not, then you can understand why you're getting what you're getting. If you tell him to go out with Mary and he goes out with Mary, well, there you go. There's your manifestation. If you say something to him like, I understand that you're not 100% sure on how you feel about us, but I'm hoping that we can have an exclusive relationship at some point. It's coming from a much different place and a much more honest place than, well, if you like Mary, go. I don't care. Okay? So when you come up to a situation and you have to make a decision as to whether or not you want to be the victor or the victim. Do you want to be the one that's crying, wondering why he chose someone else? Or do you want to be the one that he wants to be with? You know, like you can't tell somebody to do something and then get mad at them for doing it. And creating a lot of hot and cold, a lot of come here, go away. You know, we had a fight, so I blocked him. Is he going to call? First of all, I do think that that's very immature, because if you want to have a relationship with somebody, you can't block them and shut them off so there's no communication. And then hope or that they're going to show up some other way. Knock on your door, find another avenue, borrow somebody's phone. you know, now what you're doing is, because most women think out of the box and can figure out another way. I mean, it's not that guys can't, but it's like a lot of times guys would be like, well, she blocked me, fuck it. You know, or like they won't like pursue, or they won't, you know, and I don't know if like the idea is that women are trying to get men to fight or be like the knight in shining armor. I don't know what the point is. Why would you block somebody if you really want them to text you or reach out to you? I'm not sure what the point is. So don't block anyone unless you really do not want to hear from them. If somebody has been harassing you, if somebody is not leaving you alone, if things have gotten to the point where it's no longer fun, you don't want to see this person anymore, that's when you block them. Don't block them if you want to hear from them, because it sends out a very mixed energy to the universe. It sends out the energy of do not bother me. If that's what you're sending out, that's what you're going to get. So be careful. Be careful with what the intentions are and what you're aligning with. Because you're going to get with what you align with. So if you're aligning with leave me the fuck alone, that's what you're going to get. If that's how you really feel, then that's what you do. But if, you know, it's like you can't expect somebody to read your mind and know what it is that you want unless you tell them. Some people have really great connections and they know what you're thinking and saying. My friend Laura, I've said this a million times. I've known her since I'm 5. She's born at 21 degrees of Leo, which is directly on my moon. We have that kind of connection. I don't have to say anything to her. She knows exactly what I'm thinking and vice versa. When we were in high school, we were really good at being able to communicate over the telephone with other people in the room without them knowing what we were talking about. We could do it with saying very little words. Like I could say blue car and she would know what that meant. Like that's just how we are. We have that connection. Most people don't have that connection. So you can't expect somebody to know what it is you want unless you tell them. And rather than making a situation worse and worse for yourself, try your best to express exactly what you want so that that's what you get. Or if you're going to get mad at them because they don't give you what you want, at least they knew what it was that you wanted. And then you can move forward. A lot of times these hot and cold relationships are just that. There's a lot of hot and cold thoughts. There's a lot of hot and cold aligning. There's a lot of hot and cold vibrations going out there, you know, like, well, fuck him in 1 minute or in one breath, and then in the next minute it's like, yeah, but I really love him, do you think he's going to call? You can't have both, because that's what you're going to get. You're going to get both. You're going to get him showing up on Monday and disappearing on Tuesday, and that's not what you want. So try your best to just eliminate the negative and stop worrying about what the other person wants more. Focus on what it is that you want. And I don't care how busy somebody's life is. Don't give them an excuse to not treat you with respect. You know, I don't care how busy somebody is. There's no reason why they can't return a phone call or return a text message at some point, you know, within the day or so. I mean, I have friends that are like right on it with text messages. They answer immediately. And then I have friends that won't hear back from, you know, a day or two. It's not a big deal at all. I don't even think about it. But the situation is different, you know, but give somebody a chance, and if you don't hear from them in like, you know, 3 days, then that's different. But don't tell them things like, I know you're too busy for me, don't answer me, I know you don't have time for me, it's okay if I don't hear from you, and then be mad when you don't hear from them. Because you've given them the okay to treat you like a doormat, and then when they do, you're like, well, why is he treating me like that? Well, because you've allowed it, and you actually told him to. So, you know, sometimes there's a reason why they say nice guys finish last. Which is not to say that you have to be a raving lunatic. I wouldn't suggest that either, but you can set your boundaries, get respect, and also let the person know what you want without demanding too much. Like you don't, you know, it's like it's within reason. Like we can be flexible. If I text somebody at 9 o'clock in the morning and I don't hear back from them by 10, it's not a big deal. Maybe they're in a meeting. Maybe they're taking a yoga class. You know, maybe they're sleeping, whatever it is, it doesn't make a difference. If the person never gets back, it's the time. This is when I tell people not to reach out. If every morning you reach out to somebody and they ignore you, if you send 3 or 4 messages in the day and they're not answering you, that's when you pull your energy back, because now the scales have gotten very unbalanced. And when the scales get very unbalanced, it's hard to manifest, from a place of lack. And you're coming from lack. If you're putting in all the effort and nobody else is coming at you halfway, or 40, 60, then it's like now you start to build resistance, because now every time the person's phone goes off, they assume it's you. And it starts to get annoying. I'll give you a perfect example. And 2 grandmothers. My mother's mother, which was all about guilt and what she wanted and pushing herself on us and showing up if we didn't answer the phone. And my father's mother, who would say, come when you can. I'll talk to you when you can. And guess where we always were, or who we always wanted to be with? My father's mother. She was much easier. She would even throw you out. She'd be like, I've had enough of you. Okay, you guys can go home. But it's a different energy. It's the kind of thing where you want to be there because you know the person isn't forcing it on you. Where my other grandmother, it's like we would be out at karaoke until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then 8 o'clock the next morning she was here. It's like, stop forcing yourself on me. When I'm ready at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I have time for you, then you can come over. So that's when I tell people pull their energy back, because then you're like becoming, your energy is in their face too much, and they're like, oh, that's when they're like, oh my God. They don't have to reach out to you because they know that they're going to hear from you tomorrow. So that's when you get taken for granted. That's how, I'll tell people, okay, if you're not getting a response, pull way back. Pull way back. The person will notice. I promise you that. All right, that's about it for now. I will talk to you guys later. As always, if you like what we're doing here at the Magic Junk Drawer, don't forget to like and subscribe, share us with your friends. See you later. Bye-bye.